Hello, I'm Michael Ramus of Credit Rescue Now. The reason I'm putting these short clips together is I'm getting a lot of clients across the United States that are getting cheated, wrongfully represented, and also being attacked by collection agencies and threatened to be put in jail, arrested. They're threatening to garnish people on SSI, state disability, and garnish people who are on unemployment, which none of these things can be done unless it's the IRS that's after you. So I want to start off with a list of more pressing issues that bill collectors can and cannot say to you on the phone. One of the things is a bill collector cannot call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. your local time. It doesn't matter what state they're calling from, they have to abide by your local state laws. So if they're calling you from another state that's in another time zone, they still have to abide by your time zone. So no earlier than 8, no later than 9. A collector cannot let your phone ring more than 10 times. Past that is a harassment under Section 806 of the Harassment Act, under the Fair Debt and Collection Practices Act. A collector cannot discuss your debt with a third party. They cannot talk to your mother, your brother, friends, neighbors, family, anybody. They cannot discuss your debt with anyone. They cannot leave a mention of you owing a debt on the answer machine that's listened to by all, especially at the office, at a place of employment. They have a community mailbox. If they leave any mention of you owing a debt, that is third-party disclosure. And that is also a finable offense. So they cannot mention anything to do with debt anywhere on any machine, or discuss with any friends, family members, or neighbors. A collector cannot threaten to sue you, of course. The aforementioned, disabilities, SSI, unemployment. They cannot threaten to sue you because there is no way to enforce the judgment. There's no way for them to garnish your wages. So if they state they're going to sue you and garnish your wages, they cannot state that to you. And if they are, get these things on tape, folks. Tape record your bill collectors when they call you. Because if they do break the law, you have it on tape. And you can play it for their collection manager. And if they violate your rights, in most cases these debts are dismissed because they do not want to go into a courtroom with a tape recording of their collector breaking the law. So it's very important to tape record all conversations. Collector cannot cause expense to a consumer to pay a debt, forcing you to Western Union your payment or overnight your payment, check drafts by phone. They cannot force you to do this because you cannot cause expense for a consumer to pay a debt. However, if you are going to charge off or going to legal, and if that's the type of situation you're in, I highly recommend that you do overnight it. But if they are asking you for a payment arrangement by the means of overnight or Western Union, you are not obligated to do so. You can set up a payment arrangement through a check draft arrangement. That's a little fee for that, but it's very convenient, and it also allows you to pay on the debt at a discounted interest rate in most cases. Now, if you give the collector your attorney's name and number for the purpose of bankruptcy, that bill collector can no longer call you. It is a finable offense for them to call you past notification of bankruptcy, unless your attorney has not returned the call to them within 2 weeks. Accounts under dispute, full balance dispute, cannot reflect derogatory or accept payment until full balance dispute is validated through proof of debt signature. They have to prove the debt is yours before they can continue the collection process. So if you send in a letter that you dispute this debt in its entirety and you're requesting a full accounting of the debt and proof the debt's yours, everything stops at that point, and then they have to move forward with validating that debt for you. In California, a bill collector can only call your place of employment once and only once to verify employment. Now, when they call and they verify your employment, they're not allowed to tell them, would you please go tell so-and-so that we just verified their employment? This is a scare tactic. It's something, it's harassment. They're not allowed to do that. And if a collector makes contact with a consumer more than once every day, that is deemed as harassment. Most of your major banks cut it off at 7 days. You're not allowed to contact a consumer in collection more than once every 7 days. But if they're contacting you every day, tape record each one of these calls. This is deemed as harassment. And that's Section 806 again. A consumer can request in writing no calls to home and work. This will stop collection calls. Now, you would want to state, I want no further phone calls to any of the numbers you may have for me from this point on. You may contact me through mail correspondence only. And then you want to send this letter, certified mail, return receipt, to the address provided by them for mail correspondence. Once they receive this letter, they cannot call you any further. They cannot call you until you give them notice that they can. So you want to make sure you give them the avenue of mail correspondence so they can at least get a hold of you with some means. But once they receive this, most of your banks and collection agencies will place a W up in the call field. And this W is written no calls. This means they cannot call you. It stops the dialer from automatically dialing you. So it's very important that send that letter, certified mail, return receipt, and this will stop the phone calls. If they do call after that, take a picture of your caller ID and a copy of the recording of the message they left for you, and then you can send that tape recording into the agency requesting dismissal of debt for the violation of contacting you after you requested no calls. And you send a picture of the caller ID, a tape, and a requesting dismissal of debt. And then you can also forward this to your Attorney General's office and request that they do an investigation. But this is what the collection agencies are trying to avoid. So that's very important. A collector cannot use profanity to try and collect a debt. Cuss at you, threaten you. In short, the only thing they can really say is to call you up and say, listen, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs., you owe us X amount of dollars. This money is due now, and you need to pay the balance. And at the worst case, if you do not pay us or make suitable arrangements, we will have to take this to the next step. That's it. They can't say that we're going to, sue you, take your firstborn, threaten to have you arrested, thrown in jail. Debtor prisoners went out centuries ago. So this is something that cannot be done. A consumer. Now, when a consumer gets a phone call from a collector and they terminate the call and hang up on them, if the bill collector calls back, that is deemed as harassment. So they cannot call you back. Usually they'll call back and say, oh, it seems like we've been disconnected. Okay? This is just a way to get you on the phone. And you simply state, I don't want you calling me anymore. Terminate the call. Advise them it will be sent to you in writing. And that's it. But if you just tell them verbally not to call you, it's not good enough. So you need to send a letter in to stop it from happening so you have some written documentation.